Hello YouTubers, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Celestial Toymaker, and thank you to Reese for sending me a rip of the Blu-ray because mine still hasn't turned up in the post at the time of recording. Now, the animation for this release is done by the same team who did The Web of Fear Episode 3, and yeah, it's just as bad as basically everyone expected it to be. Now, to give them a little bit of credit here, it is better than the Web of Fear episode 3, but that is not saying much. That is saying nothing. That's like congratulating a kid who just shit on the floor for not flinging his shit at someone else. To be honest, you could just look at it and basically that would just do all the talking for me, but I'll make a few points here. Number one, none of the likenesses are good at all. They look nothing like the characters. Now, in some cases, this is deliberate. But with the Doctor, Steven and Dodo, this is not the case, and yeah, it just looks awful. Now, in terms of the Toymaker himself, there is a bit of debate going around in terms of whether they were allowed to use likenesses or not, so maybe you could argue there, but it's clear who it's still meant to be. And just like with Gary Russell's previous Abominable Snowmen, and also other ones as well, they have just completely redesigned characters and that, so basically none of the other characters in that remotely match their on-screen counterparts in any way, shape or form. It's also obvious when some cuts are being made, or in some cases where the camera just kinda lingers on a character because they're not quite sure what's happening in the scene, so they just kinda let the camera linger when you can clearly hear something happening in the background of the audio. Also, the jittery way the playing cards move, I don't know. Is this meant to be deliberate? Because, to be honest, it kind of feels almost like their rendering rig is gonna crash at times. And when you watch the behind the scenes on this, that very much was the case. Lip syncing and that isn't quite as bad as previously, but there is still a lot of mishaps there, and also there's still little to zero expression in the characters' faces all the time. I will say the motion capture is a lot better. There's less of characters just with their arms standing out at the side so much. Although again, this seems to be with the playing cards a bit more where their arms are just kind of awkwardly sticking out from the side for no particular reason. And I'll be quite frank here. I so wanted to stop. If I wasn't reviewing this, I honestly would have stopped right there and immediately switched to the far superior reconstruction that is also on this disc set. Yeah, it is just so bad, and I'm not joking. I was only 3 minutes in, and I really just wanted to stop, and it didn't get better as it went on. It really didn't. And a lot of the time it's also hard to see what on earth is trying to be going on. And I know you could argue, oh, it's meant to be confusing. No, there's literal cases where the way the shots are composed, it's a bit confusing on what on earth is meant to be happening here. Like, I'll give you an example. The three dancers, when they have to cross, it's not made completely obvious that there are only three, dancers on there because of just the weird way it's composited. And also, for those who care as well, the animation is cropped to 4:3 if you want to watch it in black and white where things are cut off the screen, although in this case it might actually be a blessing, because believe me, I am never ever going to put myself through this again. And it's pretty obvious the only reason this company, got hired to do this again is most likely because they were cheap. It's pretty obvious that they were cheap. I mean, for God's sake, when you've got better animation and that in the reconstructions, the telesnap reconstructions, than you do in your main feature, like, come on, then it's time to call it quits. So, regardless of, the people that worked on that, I'm sure they did work hard on this, but at the end of the day, it's a shit product at the end of the day, and I don't want to see them come back, because this is their second chance, this is their chance to prove it, and that, so, yeah, unfortunately, this is a big no-no. So in terms of what else we also get on this set, as I said, we get a reconstruction, which, for some reason is in standard definition even on the Blu-ray. I don't know why, but it is. And I know you could argue, the material they're working with is, only standard def, but there's still, look at the other sets, the Blu-ray sets, when there was recons on there, they were done in HD, so I really don't get why. We also do get the surviving episode 4, which supposedly has had work done to it, and it definitely has in some cases, because they've added digital text over the original titles, which is what they do on basically all of the new Blu-ray releases and that. But other than that, it doesn't look great quality, and that doesn't look like it's had the cleanup that it really needs. We get PDF material on that as usual, and also a 10-minute behind the scenes on making of the animation. But we don't actually get any behind the scenes on the actual story itself. And I know the reason why is because, other than, people like Peter Purvis and that, you haven't really got anyone else to really go off. So I can understand why. So instead, they've put in a 73-minute Doctor Who The Escape Room, which is a set of new special features which are going to be on upcoming Blu-ray releases. So the premise for this is basically 3 people who were part of each era of Doctor Who have to do an escape room. And in this one, it's Peter Purvis, Maureen O'Brien, and Lisa Bowman, which is interesting. Could they not get Caroline Ford? But I'm not disappointed that they did get her. So, yeah. Just interested why they didn't get her for that. But it is fun watch, and to be honest, I had so much more enjoyment watching this than basically anything else on the entire disc. But I am also looking forward to seeing the other ones in future Blu-ray sets. These were all filmed in 2023. We also get a VHS introduction to the Toymaker episode 4, The Final Test. And there you go, that's basically it. So, do I recommend this Blu-ray? Absolutely not. And I was seeing this before it even came out. Absolutely not. And, part of me, I just really partly regret getting this. And the thing is, there's no reason to get it either, because despite that special feature, it's made for the collection sets. And this will eventually go to the collection sets. So, yeah, there's literally no reason to buy this whatsoever. And I say, if you haven't bought this already, don't. Just wait for a Season 3 Blu-ray set. Obviously, we've no idea when that'll come, but it will at some point down the line. But wait for that. Do not waste your money in that on this. Show the BBC, that, hey, this animation style, this type of animation, this is not working. This is not working, okay? I've complained about the other animations before, but at least they were animations. This is just abysmal. And the fact that there was a fan animation on that of episode 1, which is infinitely better than this, and it was all done by one guy. So, yeah, I mean, I had problems with that one and that as well. That one wasn't perfect, but it was night and day compared to this. So, yeah. But anyway, that's it for this video. I can't really see anything more because I could nitpick this thing to death, but there's literally no point in me doing this. We can all see it basically writes itself by just looking at the thing, so yeah, don't.